Yeah, another arcade review. Channel might as well be called 35 Fightcade because of how hard I've been going in on this app recently. But I don't care. I've just been having so much fun playing arcade games I've never heard of before. Just like the other day when I was browsing through some beat 'em ups and saw a name that was familiar to me. 8-Man. I looked it up online, saw the art for the game, and then I remembered. Let's take a quick trip down the old memory lane and I'll ask this question. Does anyone remember when the Sci Fi channel aired anime on Saturday mornings? This was way back, like over 25 years ago. Sci Fi had Saturday Anime. This is where I first watched some of my favorite animes like Ninja Scroll, Record of Lodoss War, Iria, Vampire Hunter D. They showed a hell of a lot of bangers. They also showed some random stuff that I've not seen since, one of them being an OVA called 8-Man After. Now, all I can remember was this dude was super fast, almost like he was rollerblading, and that's really it. Except, I do remember the black suit with the red 8 on the chest. I don't think I can ever forget that.
It's not like he's real hard to recognize. He's got that weird outfit with a giant 8 on his chest.
Looking it up online, 8-Man was a manga originally created in the 60s, then had animated series and live-action adaptations. I think it's pretty awesome that a work that was created in the 60s, then 30 years later, had a game created on it based on that work, and then 30 years after that, I'm playing it and talking about it. Something created 60 years ago is still being experienced in some form today. Maybe I'm smoking some good shit right now, but when this dawned on me, it took me about 15 minutes for it to sink in and for me to fully absorb it. It's just such a cool thing to think about. And whenever something unlocks a dormant memory from my childhood, I gotta stoke the reignited flame. So let's check out 8-Man the arcade game. So no cool text intro or story, just some fast instructions and the name of the game.
Run as fast as lightning. The 8 super robots beat all evil. 8-Man!
8-Man is a side-scrolling beat-em-up published by SNK in '91. The first thing you'll notice is that your movement is only to the left and to the right, kind of like Kung Fu on the NES. I immediately thought this was a weird choice considering there were plenty of beat-em-ups already released prior that let you move in 8 directions. Hopping into the controls of the game, it's a 3-button system. 1 button to attack, which can be mashed to perform a combo, 1 button to jump, and 1 button to perform a super move. You can also hit the attack and jump buttons together to do a kick that attacks both sides. Pretty simple setup, and I found the inputs to be clean and easy to use. There's also this slide command you can perform, but it doesn't do any damage. I guess it's used to duck under obstacles, but to be truthful, I never found myself using it, so I'm kind of drawing a blank on why it was included in the first place. Next, let's talk about how fucking amazing this game looks. We got detailed and layered backgrounds on the stages, which I think all look great. The character model for 8-Man looks dope as hell, and the effects from his attacks and super moves are sick eye candy. Enemy models look just as good, and I love the explosion effect when you kill anything in this game. It's so satisfying. I also really like the enemy selection. You got foot soldiers, mechs, choppers, big-ass tanks, cone-handed mofos that split in two, these weird-ass armadillo monstrosities with upside-down heads and their eyes for nipples, but best of all is a sub-boss you get introduced to right at the end of the first stage. It's the goddamn Predator, y'all. The Predator is in this game, and he throws motherfucking Hadoukens. Hadouken! Hadouken! Most of the boss and sub-boss models look pretty gnarly, as they're just a Frankenstein's monster of metal cybernetics and organic life forms. Except for this dude, that just looks like some generic-ass supervillain that legit shits purple fireballs at you. And you'll know you're in for a serious boss fight because the game will have a short vignette of them before you fight them. The entirety of the game is basic: kill all the foes, get to the end of the stage, beat a boss, and advance. But in between all the typical beat 'em up parts, you'll play these stages where 8-Man is just zooming along, and you kind of enter the shmup mode. You can move forward and backward, but you can't turn around. Little mechs form up in a line to destroy, just like a shmup, and come to think of it, your super attack is labeled as Bomb, just like something you would see in a shmup game. I like how these foot soldiers will jump in from the background and foreground, so you have to actually jump over them or get under them at the right time to avoid being hit. So there's more strategy than just mash it out. It's also during these parts that you will notice there is a hell of a lot of ass cheeks shown in this game, especially from these dudes in the foreground. Okay, this is going to be a spoiler warning. I mean, a spoiler warning for a 33-year-old game. Do I really need to do a warning? I gotta show you all the last boss. It's just insane and badass. So the boss appears and it's this giant blue cyberhead that just laughs his non-existent ass off at you, right? So you beat him up a bit, and then all of a sudden he turns into this big old penis-shaped Metroid. Like, this thing looks freaky as hell. So you fuck this thing up, and when you think it's all over, this shit happens. Holy crap, what the hell was that? Fucking death from Castlevania? The game isn't over, as you have another stage and boss to fight. I love when games let you think it's over, but then reveal there's one more final boss to take down. That was so classic back in the day. Reminds me of all the fake Dr. Wileys from the Mega Man games. The game also has a great soundtrack, with weird upbeat tracks to match the speed and tone of the game. And the sound effects are killer. I liked hearing the swift strikes from 8-Man and the big explosions after taking out a boss. It's just godlike. 8-Man is just another fun trip to the past and a really good beat 'em up to enjoy. And thanks to the miracle of Fightcade, you can play with a friend as well. Some could consider the beat 'em up genre monotonous and it's definitely repetitive, but I just find a special joy from playing them and they never leave me bored. I think it's just the mindless fun these games provide. You don't have to focus on a giant arcing story, you don't need to have any skill, you just play and have fun. And I think that's why a lot of us hold this genre so dear. Have you played 8-Man? Feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching.